Guys, what we're going to do today is, this is a little Ruger PC9 carbine, and what we're doing is we're shooting it right about 30 yards to a still target. I'm going to shoot this. We're going to shoot like say 5-6 rounds, whatever. Go look at the group where it's at. We're going to come back. We're going to take the gun down, put it back together, and see if we get any shift, impact shift or whatever from this similar rifle. Put it back together. So I'm kind of curious myself. I haven't done this yet to see if there's any noticeable change as far as pulling the gun apart, putting it back together. When it reseats. So if you look at the gun, it's a little different than when I did my first video. This is probably the way it's going to stay. I took the RMR off, went with the SIG Romeo 5, and I put it on an ARMS mount. This is the ARMS 31 Mod 2, I guess, or Mark 2. Has a little different lever. This has been a really solid setup. Apparently, I don't know if it still is, but at one time this was the lowest mount you could get for a T1 or an Aimpoint Micro footprint. So it does sit pretty low on there. Still can't really get any kind of co-witness on the sights, but it does sit really low, so it doesn't affect your cheek weld on the stock. Also, I changed the ProTech rail mount with this TLR TLR1 HL, and why I did that is because this actually has an off switch. So it's got the momentary, the on, and then the off. So when it's folded up and packed, say in a pack, your pressure switch then won't activate the light if you turn it on off. So it's kind of a neat feature on this light that the other one doesn't have. If for whatever reason you put it in a pack, throw it somewhere and there's pressure down on it, it's going to keep that light on. That thing burns pretty hot and it probably melt the case it's in. So that's the reason I went with this, because it does have the off. So let's check it out. What we'll do is we'll fire 5-6 rounds or so we can get a group down there. Then we'll pause the video, we'll walk down, we'll look at the impact where it's hitting. We'll come back, we'll take the rifle down, put it back together, and shoot another 5-6 shots, see if we get any kind of point of impact shift. And hopefully we won't. Like I said, I don't know. I'll do it like the book says. When I put it back together, I'll cycle the action 4 or 5 times. It says to do that in the manual to seat the barrel back to its original position. So this isn't the most stable platform here, but we'll kind of work with what we got. Okay, it looks like we're pretty on. We'll pause it here and then we'll walk down and take a look at the impact area. Okay, this is the impact we're getting on steel. As you can see, it's fairly centered. If it's not favoring just a hair left, but I'd say it's pretty centered and just a little high is what the initial 0 is here. So what we'll do is we'll go back, we'll pull the barrel down, and we'll put it all back together and fire another group and see if we get any kind of noticeable shift in impact. Alright guys, so what we'll do now is, if you read the manual, which I normally don't, but I did happen to read it on this one, is I did set the tension correctly here on the nut, and they want just, some resistance as it cams over to lock into place. So this is all adjusted correctly per the manual. What you'll do to take it down, just lock it to the rear, so you pull the bolt back, push the little button by the trigger guard, that locks your bolt open, and then you pull this up, little lever underneath there up, twist it, and see, feel the resistance there because it's adjusted. We're going to pull it off. So now we got the barrel off and apart, and then what the manual actually recommends is once you do that, cycle the action 4 or 5 times hard to seat that barrel back into place. So we'll do that per factory manual recommendations there to see if that does put it back in the same spot. So we're going to do that again. We're going to run some more rounds through it. Magazine here. This is the first time using one of these ETS mags, so I've seen guys say they're not working real good in these Rugers, so we'll see. If we get in a malfunction, I've got about 450 rounds to this thing so far, with only the one malfunction with hollow point on camera on the initial video. So if we do run into some problems, it's probably going to be this magazine, but let's hope we don't here. We'll fire some and see if it shifted at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down and check out the impact area in that and see if we got any kind of noticeable shift. Alright guys, looks like it stayed relatively the same. You know, like I said, I'm shooting off kind of a wobbly setup there, and I'm shooting, you know, no magnification. It's just a red dot, so this isn't scientific at all. But you can see here, you know, I left the original group, it wasn't painted. So, you know, with these couple flyers here that could possibly be me, looks like we still maintained our same group. You know, it's favoring just a little left, it seemed like, but we got our same elevation, and it looks like same impact area, at least at 30 yards. You know, this may amplify more at 100 yards or with the magnified optic where you can get more defined on your point of aim. But as far as just shooting here at 30 yards, I don't see a real noticeable change. So what we'll do is we'll go back, I'm going to paint over this, and we'll take it apart, fire one more group, and see what we get from there. Alright guys, we're going to do the same thing one more time. We're going to lock the bolt to the rear, pull the knob forward underneath the handguard here, twist it, take it off, separate the two, put it back together, lock it. Like I said, it's got nice resistance there coming down, and we're going to cycle it 4 or 5 times here to get it to seat as per the manual. And then we're going to give this a shot. This is the Magpul 21 round magazine they came out with, which is kind of a nice setup for this because the 33 gets really out there on this gun. So it kind of splits the difference, gives you a little more rounds, and still kind of stays fairly tucked to the rifle, you know, where it's not sticking way down. And we'll give this thing a shot, see if it runs in it. It. So it ran good in there, all the way and got slide locked. And looks like our impact area stayed basically the same. It's favoring just a little left. And that one actually wasn't even too high. It was more centered and then up. So not anything noticeable that wouldn't be, you know, even caused by this wobbly setup here. Like I said, if once I get my range 100 yard in here, I can put a magnified optic or something on there and then get really more dialed in to see if there's any small amounts of shift. But as far as shooting a red dot 30 yards or defensive ranges, I would say there's no noticeable shift at that point from, you know, here to 30 with a red dot. So anyways guys, that's what I want to bring to you. I was curious myself if this thing was going to move at all, have any real big shift, but it doesn't look like it. So looks like it stays, at least in defensive ranges, looks like it stays pretty good. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe. See you in the next video. Thanks guys.